Welcome everyone to a new episode of Aging in Action. And we're really pleased to have with us three dynamic women. And we're going to be talking about a very important topic about skin cancer and a new initiative, I guess we could say, that's called Styling Hair and Saving Lives, Sty-Lives. Am I saying that right? And so today we have with us Dr. Miranda Waugh, and she's a first-year dermatology resident at the University of Ottawa. And we also have Shannon D'Angelo, who's a medical student at Northern Ontario School of Medicine. And very happy to have someone who started all of this, I guess, Kathy Barnard, and you're with the founder of Save Your Skin Foundation. Welcome, ladies.
Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well,
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, well, and I had seen, I guess, an interview that you had done, Miranda, and maybe Shannon too, and I heard about the program, and with hairdressers, and I just happened to be at my hairdresser today, and she's in your program, and I just think, and she has actually, even before all this, has actually had clients where she detected cancer and told them to go get it checked out. So maybe, I'm not sure which one of you wants to start, but maybe just explain a little bit of what's going on.
Yeah, I can start us off. So yes, Sty-Lives is a national initiative partnered and in collaboration with Save Your Skin Foundation that really promotes facilitating communication between clients and their healthcare providers, and really empowering and providing educational resources to hairstylists in order to detect skin cancer or any suspicious lesions that could be skin cancer. The main point to really take home is we want to help hairstylists detect suspicious lesions and not necessarily diagnose. We do not have expectations that hairstylists will become dermatologists or family doctors in a short amount of time. However, we want to make sure that they are aware of red flags, what to look out for in these areas that are difficult to see, including the scalp, back of head, back of ears, back of neck, and give them educational resources in order to share with their clients what they see and who to reach out to if they were worried.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Is skin cancer common on the head where the hair is? Because I never would have thought about that.
Yeah, so skin cancer is actually very common in sun-exposed areas. So anywhere, especially I would say the back of the ears are a very common place where I do see it. And there's different types of skin cancer, obviously. There's some that are a little bit less dangerous per se than others. But they are common areas just because they are so sun exposed.
Kathy, maybe you explain a little bit about how did this foundation start? Just what was your story?
All of this is very personal to me. I was diagnosed with metastatic melanoma in 2003, actually. I was actually misdiagnosed for the longest of times. Everybody thought it was fatty tissue. And by the time we discovered it was metastatic, I was given 6 months. So there was no treatments then in 2003. It's different times. So I went through a drug that they kind of knew wouldn't work, but I had it for a year. The cancer came back to my liver, lung, bone, adrenal gland, and kidney. I was able to get a drug brought into Alberta. I'm from BC, from the States, and I had a partial response, which gave me a little bit more time. And then I was one of the first Canadians on one of the new innovative medicines that uses your own body to, fight the cancer. So we knew as a family how lucky we had been. I had been married forever. My kids were growing. I worked for a great company that let me get better, and we wanted to give back. And we had a little bit of, not that we were very wealthy, but I had to pay for some of my treatments and the travel. And I know other people don't have that luxury. So we started in 2006 and really navigating people through the journey, whether it be education awareness. We work very closely with physicians. We're a part of the drug approval process. I found very quickly there isn't anything we can't do as advocates. And as if that wasn't enough, literally 4 years ago, my hairdresser found something on the top of my scalp She took a picture. We hadn't even thought about this program back then.
Yeah.
I went into a dermatologist and yeah, I had basal cell carcinoma on my head and had to have it surgically removed. So she actually, in hindsight, even saved me from a non-melanoma diagnosis. So it's very personal to us.
Wow.
Shannon, maybe, I mean, it's so important. I mean, yeah, my dad, by the time he was 90, had little chunks of him taken out all over the place. And I'm constantly looking because I'm the same type of skin, very pale, you know, and I burn, I don't tan. So, I mean, it's so important, especially when you're talking about melanoma, right, Shannon?
Oh yeah, it's extremely important. People have lots of spots all over them, and sometimes it's hard to tell, you know, what are the more dangerous ones and what are the ones that are okay. Especially the ones on your head, you can't really see those ones behind the ears, behind your neck. So that's what this whole program is designed to do, is to encourage clients to get their hairdresser to check them out. And if the hairdresser sees something that might look a little bit off, to go to a professional, a physician, dermatologist, family doctor, whoever it may be, to get the correct diagnosis. It's always better to be safe than sorry.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, if there's hairdressers that want to onboard and want to participate and become, you know, definitely one of the individuals that are supporting the program, how do they reach out? Like, do you go to the hairdressers within different provinces? Do they come to you? I'm just curious, how does that go?
Yeah, great question. So there's kind of two ways right now that people can sign up. So the first way is we actually have quite a few volunteers under the initiative, about 17 medical students from across the country that are helping distribute materials. They're doing outreach to local hair salons, and in their geographical area are really helping with distributing the message and making sure people are signing up and getting what they need in order to implement this. And another way is to sign up on the website. There is a way of signing up on the Save Your Skin Foundation website. There's a Sty-Lives link that any hairstylist can click on and sign up in order to register for this initiative. So it is very accessible to anyone in the country to sign up.
Thanks, Miranda. That's really cool.
So,
yeah, and I was saying, I mentioned my hairdresser, but I also know another hairdresser that I think that's how I discovered it. She shared your interview, and so I thought, okay, so that's two that I know of right in this city, right? Yeah. Sorry, Nikki.
that's okay. Your hair looks fabulous, Gwen.
Oh, thank you.
I wanted to mention that before we recorded. And I'm due for a tone, so I need to go to my hairdresser. So when a hairdresser signs up for this program, I mean, obviously there's some kind of education involved that you guys will provide. Can you touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. So as a part of the initiative, we made a tutorial educational video in English and in French. So if people are a little bit more uncomfortable in English, there's a French version that was made with the help of Save Your Skin Foundation and a lot of great volunteers. So that video really goes through all of the different steps and all of the educational resources that hairstylists should use in order to go step by step and make a decision whether something is suspicious or not. And it's actually an amazing video. I love it so much. Every time I watch it, it brings a smile to my face because it was just such a great teamwork and everyone really stepped up to the plate. So that does exist. And when you sign up, you do get access to that video. You can watch it. You have a liaison person. So if there's any questions or anything revolving around the video or questions about the project in general, you can always reach out to Save Your Skin Foundation or one of the medical students who are doing a bit of like the outreach. So that does exist. And then we do also have some like paper materials as well that when you sign up, salons will get. So there's a pamphlet that comes with the acronym that we made up in order to go step by step through the different characteristics of suspicious lesions. And then there's business cards, which are kind of a part of the connection piece between the client and the healthcare provider. So there's a lot of things that exist that we have English and French versions of everything because it is a national organization. I want to make sure we can get as much outreach as possible. And that's kind of how it works in terms of the education piece.
So if I live here in Northern Ontario and say I'm like, and I don't know Gwen, who has all these great resources, we'll pretend. So say I know about your program and I want to find a hairdresser that offers this value added. Is it like, can I go to your website and say, okay, here for my city, these are the hairdressers that are qualified? Like, is that something that's available?
That actually isn't something that's available, but it's like a good idea.
I was gonna say that's a very good idea.
There you go, a freebie.
Want to join the committee or what?
Yeah, we don't have a database yet of like, we're just in the process of gathering the names and like all the information from all the salons across Canada. But I think that that's a really good idea. Once we have all that information, you know, to make like a list of people who offer that service.
Lisette, you should join their board of directors.
Yeah.
Please.
There you go.
Only if you do my job, Nikki.
Okay, take that back. Take that back.
Yeah. So I have another question. So is this limited to your hair, or like I don't go to the hairdresser very often because my hair is long, but what about I get my nails done and my feet done? Is that part of a package too, or?
Yeah, so as of right now, we're focusing mostly on hairstylists because the program has been designed around hairstylists. And we actually have a hairstylist consultant who also sits on our like organizational committee, who's been really great at helping making sure that we're really hitting all the key messages that a hairstylist would want to hear. So as of right now, we're focused on hairstyling. However, I think as this project evolves and as we see the success and the way that it picks up across the country, I think a future goal would be to kind of have this spread within massage therapy, like in aesthetics, right? We talked about like hands and such, like those are all sun exposed areas, especially like your back too, right? With massage therapy. So it's a good thought. I think that one step at a time, maybe we'll get there one day. But it's all very important. And I think that as many people we can get fully equipped with the information, the earlier that we can have skin cancer detected in certain areas that are underserviced as well. So it's a good
and actually, Miranda, you're absolutely right, Like the earlier we catch skin cancer, the better the prognosis, right? We all know that early detection is key. And, you know, as I always tell people, the skin is an organ. It's the largest organ of your body, and you see it or somebody sees it within your life, you know, on a regular basis. So, you know, check it, know it, love it, protect it. And I'm really proud of Shannon and Miranda. This is a wonderful initiative. They've been working very hard on this, and I would love to see it grow and grow and grow. My worry is always when I see all the kids with all their tattoos all over their body, and I'm like, oh no, who's checking underneath there first? So it's an excellent project.
And just sorry, one more thing. It's very mainstream in the media right now too. I don't know if everyone's up to date with this story with the hockey coach or hockey trainer.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Who had like a student point something out on him from anyways. So that's a really interesting story, and just goes to show that, you know, sometimes we miss these things, especially when they're in areas that are hard to see. So I think the more people we have equipped with that information, the better.
Joy, did you have a question? I think you were.
No, I was actually going to ask the same thing, Lisette. And I know my thing says Elena, so I'm like, oh yes, my granddaughter was using my food wash. But I was just going to ask the same thing Lisette did, because for myself, I was having a pedicure when a spot was found on the big toe. And I never thought to look, and it was like, what? And, you know, that's how that conversation, and then it evolved from there. And I was exactly what Lisette was going to be. I can see this initiative taking so many forms, because it's just amazing that, you know, you're right. You're getting a pedicure, you're getting manicures, you're getting your hair done, you're having a massage, and the opportunity is just unlimited on innovation on it. So no, I was going to ask the same question Lisette did, is would this then, I bet your phones are going to be ringing pretty quick in the next few weeks.
Well, and I did ask my massage therapist last week about it, because I thought, I'm laying naked there all the time. What does she see? You know, and she did say, I think as part of her training, they sort of, I don't know how much, it might have been limited, but I thought, wow, you know, like we're exposed all, I mean, in a tactful way, but we're exposed large areas of our body with a massage therapist, right? And I'm thinking it's so hard to get in to see specialists. You know, what if there was like all these helpers out there kind of, you know, detecting things? It's just a really good resource, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that just having an awareness of what red flags are is so important. And like I said before, we're not expecting everyone to be able to diagnose. That takes so many years, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So that's really important. I don't want everyone to feel so intimidated that they will have to diagnose skin cancer, right?
Yeah.
So I think just knowing what the red flags are important. And you're right, it does exist in the educational curriculum for a lot of these people who work in, you know, aesthetics or with the body in general. And that's why we were in close discussion with Cass, who's our hairstylist consultant. And it is taught in the curriculum, but then, you know, you go to school and then you have all these years after and you forget, and, you know, it's just a nice reminder to have. And especially that it's so visual and hopefully very simple for people to understand. I think that's really important as well.
I think what's really great is that even if you can see it, like, you know, as I'm aging, I'm getting spots here and there, and they're evolving with me, we'll say, and I look at them as quite normal, which, like, Joy probably saw that spot on her foot 1,000 times and just thought it was part of aging. And it takes somebody else with, you know, with fresh eyes, I guess you could say, to look at that and say, you know, you should get that checked, right? And I mean, because we all get things, you know, as I don't know what you want, as we get older. And like I said, they just evolve with you, and all of a sudden they're there, and you think, wow, they've been there forever, you know, and you don't even give it a second glance. So I think this is awesome.
For sure.
No, I mean, yeah, from head to toe, right? Because I mean, and sometimes it's in places you'd least expect it to be. It isn't always like totally overt, you know, something on your hands, but I mean, all of those things help for sure. And just because of the seriousness of melanoma, like that coach you're talking about, right? I mean, yeah, she probably saved his life by just insisting, I guess, you know, but you can't make somebody do something they, you know, but she must have been forceful enough for him to think about it. I'm going to get it checked.
She did. She got in behind the bench and put the message on her phone and stuck the phone up against the plexi of the player's box. So good for her.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, education's power, right? And, you know, Miranda had mentioned that, yes, you learn it in education, but unless it's kind of top of mind and you keep hearing about it and discussing it, you're not going to, you know, maybe think about that in everyday situations. So I think this is fantastic. And as a community member, I'm kind of throwing this question back at you. How can we support you, or even our viewers watching? How can we support this initiative? I mean, my first thought is when I go see my hairdresser to say, hey, you know, have you checked this out? They could take a look at this. But is there anything else that we can do as a community to support this program and initiative?
Yeah, I think definitely the number one thing is just spread the word. We want to get as many hairstylist salons on board with this project. And we would like to see it nationwide. So even if you have family members or really any contacts in other provinces, it's really important to get the message out. Currently, we have 54 salons, I think, in total signed up, which is actually a pretty impressive number, given that we just launched like a month ago.
Yeah.
And, you know, lots are local, and I think that the media really helps with that. But we would really like to have it more dispersed, especially getting to Southern Ontario, where there's more populous cities, and even in Quebec, where there's, you know, there's lots of Canada. So I think that the more we get the message across, the better. And I think the community, if we could get as many people telling their friends, family, hairstylists about it, I think the better as well.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see too how many detections or how many warnings, you know, or where does this lead in a year? How many people, you know, did get things investigated because of it?
Yeah, no, for sure. I think those outcomes will be really interesting to see. It will be something.
No, I think it's a fabulous program, and I'm so happy you were able to do this interview with us and spread
And you
the
said
word.
it launched a month ago and you already have, wow, 54.
Yeah,
that's
it was
great.
we launched a bit before the holidays. So I think the holidays, there was a bit of a lull because, everyone's doing their holiday stuff. But then since the media has really picked up on it, like we've had quite a bit of signups. So it's really nice to see. And I think the more we talk about it and get the word out, hopefully there'll be more.
Yeah.
Oh, this is fantastic. What a great discussion we're having. And maybe in a year from now, we'll have you back on our show and we can talk about even more, organizations and businesses that have signed up and where you're taking it from there. We're kind of coming to a close of our episode. Time flies. And we just want to give you guys a moment. If there's any final thoughts, anything we haven't touched on this episode that you want to make sure, us as hosts know, or even our viewers.
I'll start actually. I think it's just really important that, again, that we all remember that our skin is an organ. We see it, take a good look at it, and anything that looks odd or peculiar, you need to see an expert. I think skin cancer is probably one of the fastest growing cancers in Canada, probably even worldwide. And our potential doctors can tell me if I'm right or wrong, but we're seeing it in younger people more now than we did in the beginning days of the foundation's, beginning. So, again, just keep your eye on your skin. If anything looks odd, go get it checked. It's always to be safer than sorry, I think.
Yeah,
For sure.
I thought of something. You asked in the meantime, what could we do? I thought of one thing, and that is wear sunscreen on,
Yes.
on all your sun exposed areas, even in the winter,
Yep.
Oh, see, I never think about it in the winter. I think about it in the summer, and I'm typically like head to toe covered up because I gave up a long time ago trying to tan. I burn, and it's not worth it. It's not worth it at all. So, but thank you for reminding me, because
Another thing
I always make sure my makeup has it. Does that count?
Yeah, it can count. It can, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to echo what Kathy and Shannon said. So obviously sun protection, super important. Sunscreen, sun protective clothing, hats, right? Especially on the head and in the scalp, very important. And I think just obviously, if you're worried about anything on your skin, it is best to go get it checked out by a healthcare professional. I know sometimes access is difficult, but I think, speaking to someone in healthcare is really important, just to run it by them. And they have the right tools to be able to help you navigate the healthcare system. So I think that's really important. As soon as you're worried and you have a little bit of concern, I think seeking care is the most important, and just going through those red flags that should point to suspicious skin lesions, and obviously spread the word about the initiative.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, we will put a link to your website and all
Awesome.
the foundation's site too, and just to spread the word for sure.
Well, thank you, Miranda. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you, Kathy, for joining us and helping our community age in action.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, ladies.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, ladies.
So.